if you were paying attention to what was going on yesterday, a school shooting, another mass shooting happened in America, a country where mass shootings are so commonplace. More mass shootings have happened in this country than there have been days in this year so far. And I don't know what to say. Do you think a majority of AR manufacturers are blame here? Like, AR is not the most deadly weapon either, but I do think that it's something that should be severely restricted in both its manufacturing and also severely restricted in its sale to random people. But good luck getting that across to any single person. They will never understand that. If they love guns, if they have a gun, they think you're trying to take their toy away. But they never will admit that you're trying to take their toy away. They will try to turn that into a more serious conversation about fighting tyranny. Dude, you are not going to fight against a tyrannical government, okay? You are not the Viet Cong. You are not the Taliban. You will never be able to fight successfully against the American government if it wanted to shove its boot up your ass. And as it does all day, every day, and you shut the fuck up and you keep consuming the garbage that you consume on a daily basis and refuse to recognize that you're being over all the goddamn time. So it's already happening. You talk about a tyrannical government fucking you over. Hello, we're here, okay? We're here already. A tyrannical government fucking you over isn't when they tell you can't get a $5 jalapeno popper at Applebee's, okay? It's the surveillance state that we have. It's the police state that we have. It's the severe lack of freedom of travel that you engage in. As long as it's done through a capitalist framework, though, you deserve it, right? You're a cuck piece of shit. You're like, oh man, it's fine. It's fine. I deserve to be shit on every day. I deserve to be in a situation where I can't pay for fucking healthcare. You know what I mean? There are people who legitimately believe that. They think that that's not tyranny. They think it's not fucking medical tyranny when you can't get healthcare because you just have it's just too expensive. You're paying a fuckload out of pocket. You're terrified to go to the doctor because you don't want to get medically bankrupt. That's not medical tyranny. The real healthcare tyranny is, when the government's like, here's a fucking free vaccine. None of these pieces of shit are going to fucking get together and actively dismantle the federal government, okay? They're not going to be able to do that. The Republican Party is already doing that. The Democratic Party is also looking over and allowing that to happen anyway. And they're doing it at the behest of corporations. You are fucking powerless. And if you think you're a brave hero, a brave mujahideen who's going to be able to fight back against the American government and like actually fucking organize, guess what, dude? You can't even organize in a fucking workplace. Good luck. You don't even want to organize in your fucking workplace. Obviously not the people in this chat, not the people in this community, but think about that. Motherfuckers are like, yeah, we're gonna fight back against the government. That's why I need a gun. Bro, you can't even fucking fight back against your boss. You don't even have control over your own life as an adult, dude. 80% of your life is spent in a fucking corporate office or in some kind of workplace, and you have no control over that. You can't even organize to take control over that in some meaningful capacity because you think that's communism. And then you turn around and you think you're gonna fucking fight back against tyranny when the government wants to fuck you? The government's fucking you already. Anyway, here's Governor Greg Abbott holding a press conference after the Texas shooting, even though he like literally is, alongside every other Republican, responsible for some of this fucking bloodshed. They are responsible for it. Governor Greg Abbott, straight up, in 2015 was like, oh, we're number 2 after California in gun purchases. Like, we gotta get those numbers up. Why, dude? Are you a gun? The fuck? What is it? What is that? What is that? Why is the fucking governor saying we need to buy more guns? Can you imagine doing that about any other commodity? When it's a gun, it's like a part of your personality, a part of your existence, a very important part of your personality. That's how little care we have in ourselves and in our other fellow men and women, okay? That like we have attached our personality to a fucking weapon. It's such a complicated problem, and therefore solving it is virtually impossible. There is so much revenue to be made. There's so much revenue to generate from selling guns, from beefing up the gun culture and continuing to advocate for it. And so many people have like personally decided that this is their life. This is literally everything to them. They have attached their personalities to having a gun. It was not an accident that we have this thing happen. Mass shootings and specifically school shootings happen so frequently in this fucking country. Other countries don't have these issues. Here, hold on.
Far more evil for someone to gun down little kids. It is intolerable. And it is unacceptable for us to have in the state anybody who would kill little kids in our schools. Children are a blessing. God teaches us that.
Fuck you, dude. Children are a blessing. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Bro, when a tragic event occurs, as it does always, okay, nonstop, first thing that these fucking assholes think about is like, oh no, how will this impact the bottom line of gun manufacturers? So understand that. When someone is saying like, oh man, we gotta protect guns, like, Remember, they're not saying like we have to protect the American citizens' like right to self-defense or any other fucking bullshit that they try to make it seem like they care about. They straight up are basically saying, oh, did a bunch of babies die? What will this do for the bottom line of gun manufacturers? How can we defend gun manufacturers' bottom line? Understand that. It's nothing but that. That's what these motherfuckers care about.
Innocence and joy. Their love is a gift that parents get to unwrap every single day.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking piece of shit, dude. I don't care about what he has to say. I don't care about his like fake tears. Literally gonna go to an NRA. He's gonna go to an NRA conference on Friday. So just remember that. He's going to an NRA conference. That fucking dickhead in the back also. Ted Cruz, trigger warning, Ted Cruz. They're both going to an NRA conference in Texas, okay? On Friday. Text in here, what can we do? Serious question. It's so fucked in my state, and there isn't much I can do from Austin, Texas, a more progressive area of itself, where I live in downtown. Yeah, I don't. At this stage, when it comes to gun violence, like I literally don't know what I have no other options. I have nothing. It is such a fucking gigantic problem that requires a creative and multifaceted solution. Like we are talking about basically changing the American consciousness around gun ownership. We're talking about getting the Democratic Party to stop being feckless. I guess the thing you can always do is try to organize, okay? Organize in your community as best as you can. That's the first step towards even getting the Democratic Party to fucking do anything. I don't know what else to say other than that. That's the primary thing that you can do. It's the first step, most significant thing you can do. Run for office in local positions, organize your workplace, organize your community, and try to build at least the infrastructure to push back, not against the Republican Party. Obviously, no one gives a fuck about that. You're not going to convince them. They're fucking psychos. But at least urge the Democratic Party in unison to take action. Because right now, and this is going to change in the midterms, which have started, our coverage has started on it. Right now, the Democratic Party at least has a 50-50 and a majority vote in the Senate. So the Democratic Party could actually push for bills and pass bills, but they won't because they can't. Because they don't want to. They don't want to even get the adequate number of votes within their own caucus. They don't even have enough Democrats to say, yeah, we got to do something about this. Number one reason why the Democratic Party has current blood on their hands is because they would rather fucking fundraise off of dead babies. They would rather fundraise off of destroying the women's bodily autonomy instead of actually do anything to solve it. They will never turn around and abolish the filibuster. They will never turn around and even whip their own caucuses to vote on behalf of popular legislation.
Right now, and you are doing nothing. No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over. This is totally predictable when you... Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
Yeah, what a sick son of a bitch he is, dude. Saying like, you're at fault here, or your position on like making it as easy as possible to fucking get guns in the state of Texas. Yeah, no, this is like guns are not the responsible party here. How dare you, you sick son of a bitch? Listen, when a fucking Republican asshat says, "How dare you, you sick son of a bitch?" You're politicizing this. Remember, you're politicizing this tragedy. No, what they're actually saying is, "How dare you, you sick son of a bitch? How dare you try to impact guns in the aftermath of this tragedy that happened because of the readily available and broadly available and not restricted purchase of guns." That's what they're saying. They're not saying, how dare you talk about this fucking issue politically at a time when like babies are dying. They're literally just saying, how dare you fucking talk about guns like this. The grandma of the shooter did more to try and stop him than the cops did. She tried to stop him from leaving, was wounded, called the cops to give him a heads up. The shooter crashed his truck in front of the school, briefly engaged two cops, and then the cops hid. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. Does anyone have the video of?
I knew the cops hit. I didn't know that it was that like.
Yeah, no,
blatantly. Like,
the what we know so far about the school shooting was that early on Tuesday morning, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos sent a private Instagram message to Anita, a 17-year-old girl who he had met randomly on the Tinder for Kids app Yubo in March. "I'm about to," Ramos wrote in the end. The message posted at 7:43 a.m. local time in Uvalde, Texas, according to screenshots of the interaction shared with Vice News. When Anita woke up in California several hours later, she responded by asking, "About to what?" Ramos didn't tell her what he was going to do, but cryptically added, "I'll tell you before 11. I got a little secret I want to tell you." At 11:16 a.m., Ramos sent his final message to to Anita, "I'ma air out." Anita, who was not feeling well and had gone back to sleep, didn't respond to this message until 4 hours later. By that time, Ramos was dead, and so were at least 21 other people, including 19 elementary school children. Ramos had just carried out one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. The first call to law enforcement came at 11:20 a.m., just minutes after he sent a message to Anita. The calls came after Ramos reportedly shot his grandmother, who he was living with. While some reports initially said Ramos's grandmother was dead, officials later said she had survived and was being treated in the hospital. Her condition is currently unknown. One local told a Newsy reporter that Ramos got into an argument with his grandmother over failing to graduate. He was angry that he did not graduate, and he got into an argument with his grandmother, and she was screaming, the man claimed. It was Texan students last week of school before summer break. That makes it even, that's an additional sad reality there. Ramos then drove off in a dark truck, according to 911 callers, which he crashed into a ditch near the small campus of Robb Elementary School, home to around 600 students in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades. By the way, as we looked at it yesterday, the Robb Elementary School is one of the, I think it's like 3,600th school, ranks like in the dead last in all schools in the state. The reason for why this public school is ranking nearly dead last out of the 4,000 schools in the state is, of course, because it is 92% Hispanic. Not a lot of surprises there. This is an underserved, underprivileged community, predominantly made up of Latino people. They were spending probably too much money on their police force. If I'm not mistaken, I think 40% of the Uvalde budget goes directly to the police force. Those very same fucking cowards that were unable to apprehend or kill this fucking shooter. Yeah. Something that every single person in America uniformly agrees is like the one instance where police violence is justifiable and expected. While these same dipshits have no problem fucking mag dumping into a 14-year-old black kid with a phone in his hand, they could not mag dump into a fucking active shooter, okay? And said, let's throw some babies at the fucking problem. Let's throw some children and some teachers at the problem instead while we wait for backup. At this stage, I feel as though the only people that care about this consistently are people who have been victimized personally by gun violence. You know what I mean? Sometimes it just feels like people just don't give a shit. People don't personally care about it. It is happening so much and with such high frequency that it doesn't matter. And I feel as though, the only solution to get enough people in the public to care about gun violence is just by letting it happen so that, at least one American in every family is impacted by gun violence and mass shootings so that they can also feel personal involvement, because it's just not happening in any other meaningful capacity. That's what it is at this point. So where were we? Okay, I'm gonna give you more details on what was happening in that moment. I've gone back and forth on this. There's like conflicting reports on this. One of the sentiments that we've heard so far, or one thing that they're saying is like they originally claimed that the shooter had a fucking body armor on, and that's why they couldn't get to the shooter. And now they're claiming that the shooter just had a plate carrier with no plates in it. After further inspection of the deceased suspect's clothing, it now appears the suspect was not wearing body armor as previous information had indicated. Instead, Ramos is said to have been wearing only a plate carrier with no ballistic armor inside when he exchanged gunfire with several officers at the school. While they were doing victory laps on how well they apprehended the shooter or how well they fucking stopped further lives from being taken away, the reality was a little bit different. Plate carriers, it's like the basic component of what will carry the actual armor and body armor. That's what it is. Here's a plate carrier. For those of you who don't know, this is a plate carrier, okay? Here. That's a plate carrier. You put actual fucking armor in the plate carrier. So he crashed, fled, had a shootout, got tired of that, ran into the school, barricaded in a classroom, and opened fire. Yep. The one instance where the expected outcome is for the police to be violent and swift. The one instance where universally every single fucking person is like, no, that's good. Please kill this person. The fucking pig fucks could not even do that right. The one fucking time, dude. Insanity. I hope those fucking cops live with that every fucking day for the rest of their short-lived lives, okay? 19 fucking dead children, dude. They threw those children at the problem. They were like, fuck it. Ramos drove off in a dark truck, according to 911 callers, which crashed in a ditch near the small campus of Robb Elementary School, home to around 600 students in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, meaning they are aged between 7 and 10. 7 and 10. The vast majority of the students there are Latino, 92%. It's been reported that all the victims were all inside the same classroom during the massacre. Ramos was seen exiting the vehicle, brandishing a handgun and a rifle while wearing a backpack and body armor. The body armor plate carrier They didn't actually have any plates in it, so it wasn't even protecting you. 2 local police officers responded immediately to the 911 calls about the truck crashing and engaged Ramos in a firefight outside the school. Both officers were shot in exchange but didn't have serious injuries. Despite the law enforcement attention, Ramos proceeded and entered the school and immediately began to fire upon the student body, moving from classroom to classroom, officials said. At the end of the horror, at least 19 students were dead, along with 2 fourth-grade teachers, Irma Garcia and Eva Mireles. As soon as he made entry into the school, he started shooting children, teachers, whoever was in his way. He was shooting everybody. Texas Department of Public Safety spokesperson Lieutenant Chris Olivares told the Daily Beast. So whenever motherfuckers say that, you needed a good guy with a gun, you needed a fucking person in that situation to defend the school, we need to arm our teachers. Remember, there were good guys with a gun. 2 good guys. And they couldn't stop him. They let him walk into a fucking school. And then they even lied. They said he had a body armor. What are we going to do? They sat back and they waited for Border Patrol to race to the school, including over a dozen members of a SWAT-like tactical and counterterrorism unit, which is called BORTAC, by the way, which was an operation famously in Portland during the George Floyd protests. Trump literally sent them into Portland. Black bag. Random fucking anarchists on the streets of Portland. Okay, they were very good at that. This article saying the cops were outside were shot. I thought the official statement was just that they suffered minor injuries. They could have scuffed their knees. Yeah, I don't know how they were shot and suffered minor injuries. I don't know what that's about. At the same time, a team of agents from BORTAC came in, but it was one lone Border Patrol agent who was working nearby at the time who ended the shooting. He entered the school on his own and killed Ramos, who was hiding behind a barricade at the time. I believe it was 30 minutes until someone actually walked in. Governor Abbott identified the shooter as Salvador Ramos, who attended a nearby high school. Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez told CNN that Ramos was born in North Dakota and had recently purchased a weapon on his 18th birthday. A former neighbor told the Washington Post that Ramos' home life with his mother was rough and police were regularly called. The Post reported that months ago, he moved in with his grandmother. Classmates said 2 months ago, he posted an Instagram video of showing him aggressively fighting with his mother, saying she was kicking him out. According to a former friend who spoke to the Washington Post, Ramos would use a knife to cut his face for fun and drive around shooting people with a BB gun at random. Other former friends said that the shooter had a speech impediment and was bullied hard by lots of other people. They said when Ramos and his mother relocated to Texas, the shooter became a different person and kept getting worse and worse. Classmates at Texas high school attendants said Ramos got in numerous fistfights with classmates, tended to take jokes too far, and told a friend he only wanted to join the Marines to kill people. Just another broken fucking person from a broken fucking family that got no fucking help at any part of his fucking life from a government that takes in billions, trillions of fucking dollars a year and refuses to spend it on mental health, refuses to spend it on additional school programs, that refuses to spend it on catching and also stopping people from actively getting further and further radicalized or falling further into mental illness. And then we sit there and we go, how could this have happened? Oh my God, how could this have happened? Well, what do you expect? What the fuck do you expect? This is why it is a fucking, this is why I always say it's a powder keg waiting to explode. And the prevalence of guns and the ease of access to weapons makes it so much more so much easier. He would take things too far, say something that he shouldn't have said, and then he would go into defense mode about it, one classmate said. Ramos worked at a Wendy's, Daily Beast reported, where a coworker described him as having an aggressive streak. He would be very rude towards girls sometimes, and one of the cooks threatening them by asking, do you know who I am? And he would also send inappropriate texts to the ladies. At the park, there'd be videos of him trying to fight people with boxing gloves. He'd take them around with him. His online footprint was remarkably small for someone in the digital age. An Instagram account tied to him was taken down in hours following the shooting. The Instagram featured a photo of himself taking a mirror selfie and an image with a rifle that was posted 3 days prior. There was no bio, and the username was simply the biggest op. A similar looking TikTok page went up 23 hours before the shooting, with the TikTok account, which was viewed by Vice News before his removal, was bare bones, just featuring one post of a game and the same photo as the Instagram account. This profile, again with the username the biggest op, had a bio, however, which said, kids be scared IRL. No other social media accounts on other platforms have been connected to the shooter, though he was active on Yubo, a live streaming platform aimed at young people. Back in March, he contacted randomly Anita, who did not want to share her second name with Vice due to privacy concerns, on Yubo, using the same name and profile pictures as Instagram account. This is apparently, I don't know what fucking Yubo is, but apparently it's like Tinder for kids, like a under 18 Tinder. He asked me to be his girlfriend and stuff as a joke. I don't even know. Anita told Vice News in a voice memo on Tuesday night, and I said no. The shooter asked if they could move their chat to Instagram, but when she said no because she was already chatting to someone on Instagram, he got aggressive. Who are you talking to? He demanded. When Anita said it doesn't matter, he responded, it does. Who exactly? Tell me. According to the screenshots of the interaction, Anita said she didn't then or doesn't now have any more information about who the person she was speaking to was. He contacted her again on May 12th, this time with this time on Instagram, where he asked her if she was going to repost my gun pics. Then on Friday, tagged Anita in pictures of the guns he purchased on his birthday. She responded, what your guns got to do with me? And he said, just wanted to tag you. Anita replied that it's just scary. I don't know, be grateful I tagged you. No, it's just scary for real. How? I barely know you and you tagged me in a picture with some guns. Ugh, IG. And then, hey. After news of the shooting broke, Anita posted screenshots of her interaction with Ramos and wrote, "The only reason I responded was because I was afraid of him. I wish I had stayed awake to at least try to convince him not to commit his crime." Despite making it clear that she had nothing to do with Ramos, people still blamed her for the shooting. Now people are attacking me for it, and they think I'm his girlfriend, which I am not, Anita said, adding that some people are saying that I should have predicted what he was going to do. He bought the rifle 8 days ago. According to the Daily Dot, the gunman posted about guns frequently on his Instagram and then recently purchased the gun online. One of the Instagram followers who spoke to the Daily Dot told the outlet that just over a week ago on Ramos' birthday, he purchased the rifle online. This corresponds with what Senator Gutierrez said, as May 16th is reportedly Ramos' birthday. The user shared screenshots with the outlet showing a receipt that he purchased a weapon for $1,870. Prior to this, he would post images of guns on his wish list. By the way, imagine fucking attacking this random girl. Oh, how psychotic, but expected, of course. The website that Ramos seemingly purchased the gun from has several firearms listed online, and AR-15 matches the price paid in the receipt. Other followers of the shooter on Instagram said, like Anita, they interacted with Ramos on Yubo and frequently posted images of weapons online. All I know is he would always post guns on his story, one anonymous follower told the Daily Dot. Yes, to the Europeans in chat, Americans do indeed purchase weapons online. In the state of Texas, he can legally purchase a weapon online as long as he's 18 years old. Is there a known motive for the shooting? No, they're just saying, from what we know thus far, the motive is that he was just like a fucking broken dude who loved guns and literally purchased guns. And then I think like a fight broke out between him and his grandmother, who was like yelling at him for not being able to graduate. He was bullied regularly, you know. He was transgender. No, he wasn't, dude. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Fucking literally, if your immediate inclination is to like turn around and be like, oh my God, it must be a trans person, you are just telling on yourself, you pathetic loser, dude. Holy fuck. 19 children and 2 teachers are dead, but Governor Greg Abbott is approaching this from a glass half full perspective. It could have been worse, he said. That's fucking sick, dude. He's right. It could have been worse. What if he had a fucking tactical nuke, for example, and he wiped out the entire state of Texas? What then? Congressional correspondent for ABC, Rachel Scott asks Senator Lindsey Graham if he can assure the American people that this time something will get done. He says, I can't assure the American people that there's any laws we can pass that would have stopped this shooting, he said. We can't do it. It's great. It's fucking awesome. It's great. There's nothing you can do about it either, by the way. Good luck. Good luck if you want to do anything about it. Organize. You have no power. What are you going to do? Get the Democratic Party to do something? You have no power. You can't do any of those things, okay? This is why people probably fucking move on and go back to like celebrity nonsense. Oh, yeah, a shooting happened. Fuck it. Who cares? Let's listen to like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp talk about what they did to one another for the millionth time over the course of the past fucking 6 weeks. I thought you said you were in favor of guns, so gun control on your end would be what exactly? How do you balance the line between keeping guns away from the people plotting these atrocities and citizens trying to protect themselves? First and foremost, okay, you are infinitely safer if we have gun control than if you actually have a gun to defend yourself. And I, as someone who literally gets death threats regularly, am telling you this. I, as someone who has actually gotten like legitimate death threats from people with a lot of fucking guns, actually, and with a lot of interest in following through on death threats, am telling you, a random person living in Kansas or whatever the fuck, that you're ridiculous. I would feel a lot safer if we had less guns on the fucking streets. I will feel a lot safer if we disarmed the police alongside with the population. Obviously, you can't do one and not do the other, okay? It goes hand in hand. One of the immediate things that I believe we should be doing is cutting the circulation of guns immediately, stopping it dead in its fucking tracks, okay? We already have more guns than we have people in this country. Another thing that I believe we should be doing is creating a national registry of weapons. A national registry of weapons so that everyone that wants to shoot a gun at least has to demonstrate their competence, demonstrates that they know exactly what safety measures they need to take. This is normal regulation and normal restrictions that happen in every other fucking sane country where there are guns in circulation. That's it. It is not that insane to suggest this. The only reason why we can't do it is because people use the Second Amendment. They say, nope, there's a constitutional right for me to own a weapon and use a weapon, and you can't stop that. You can't get in the way of that. You can do it for trucks and cars, but you can't do it for guns. You cannot do it for weapons. Why? Because the Constitution said so. You're limiting my freedoms. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. I was going to show this to you. Hey, by the way, guys, this guy just won. I just want to say, this guy just defeated Jessica Cisneros, unfortunately, last night. This guy that Jim Clyburn, number 3 in the Democratic Party, and Nancy Pelosi campaigned for, okay, who is backed by the NRA in Texas 28, won by the slimmest of margins. 177 votes is what made the difference between this fucking 9-term incumbent and Jessica Cisneros, who we've had on this broadcast. There's a recount that's happening, but it doesn't seem, I don't know if it'll actually change the outcome or not. Back in 2017 or 2018, after another Texas shooting, here is Henry Cuellar, the most conservative fucking Democrat, who is literally just a Republican. He's pro-life and pro-guns, pro-Second Amendment, talking to MSNBC in the aftermath of yet another shooting in Texas. Oh, this wasn't after a Texas shooting. Maybe was this after Vegas?
Do you think it's acceptable just to say that, if someone wants to kill someone, they're going to kill someone?
Well, I mean, again, do you want to ban trucks because a truck was used? Do you want to ban an airplane because?
Look at that. That is the dumbest argument on the planet. Please ride your fucking AR-15 to work tomorrow, okay? Just do that. Just ride your fucking gun. You use it for different things, like lighting up a cigarette, for example. Let's see how that works. There is no other utility for a gun. And also, more importantly than the fucking trucks and planes argument that he's about to establish, there are licenses for trucks and planes. The amount of training that you have to undergo to be able to drive a fucking truck, you have to demonstrate your competence over and over again. There is consistent checkpoints where people make sure that you know that you're still driving the truck appropriately. There are laws about how you can drive a truck. There's more training required to drive a fucking truck than to purchase a gun. There is more utility for a truck, obviously. It is used in commerce. You cannot use guns in commerce in a similar capacity. There is no reason for you to have a fucking gun other than because you want to kill shit, okay? And it's fun to shoot. And I admit that. It is fun to shoot. But the fact that we can't even fucking have any sort of sensible, reasonable fucking national registry of weapons where people have to demonstrate their competence to be able to get a fucking gun and then level up. Like, if you want to fucking shoot you want to shoot birdshot, it's the easiest one to get. You level up after that. You want to use a shotgun, you need to get a separate license. You want to use an AR-15, you need to get a separate license, for a long barrel weapon. And then ultimately, if you want to use a pistol, you need to get an even, more rigorous license. Just like fucking how it works with vehicles, except obviously size in this circumstance makes it harder to hide, and therefore handguns are the most difficult ones to achieve. Okay? Why can't we do that? And why can't we greatly reduce the amount of guns that are in circulation? Why can't we? Well, we can't because people just like shooting, and that's it. They've established that this is their identity. This is the most significant part of their fucking identity, because we're pathetic dickhead losers in this fucking country that fancy themselves as John fucking Rambo. That's it. That's the fucking reason, because we're pathetic fucking cuck losers who think that we are going to be the good guy in that situation. We are going to defend ourselves with a fucking gun. Well, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. But you have an entire industry dedicated to making you feel like you're going to do that. Every other facet of your life, people are telling you you're going to do that. You're going to step up. Every guy is like that fucking weird fantasy when they were in school or whatever, when they fight someone and bravely protect everyone else. It's like a classic fucking dumb guy fantasy that everybody has. And by the way, the idea that I'm talking about, the John Rambo idea that I'm talking about, is demonstrated perhaps perfectly in the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting case, okay? Kyle Rittenhouse did that. He did the John Rambo thing. He got a gun, brought it into a place that he wasn't supposed to, thought that he was going to defend people and protect people, and guess what happened? When people were chasing after him, he shot and killed people and then became an active shooter. And when other people tried to apprehend the active shooter, he shot and killed more people. And then the Republican Party defended him. Here is Rick Scott on allowing people to have AR-15s.
What about getting rid of AR-15s? Why are these semi-automatic rifles necessary?
No, if people want to talk about banning specific guns...
Wait, this is not Rick Scott. This is Senator Marco Rubio.
They should propose that, but it wouldn't prevent these shootings. The shooting would occur...
Banning a weapon like that would...
They could commit the crime with a different weapon that performs exactly the same, just wouldn't fit the definition in the law.
Bro, then fucking legislate that away too. Are you that fucking stupid? Then do that. Then ban it. Ban that too. What the fuck is this? Dude, this idea technically, you can change the pistol grip and then make it seem like it's a different weapon. Like, okay, ban it. You're a politician. What's wrong with you? You just don't want to. That's the point. You don't want to. Don't act like there is no way that you can do this, okay? You can just straight up say long barrel rifles are no longer allowed to be in circulation, okay? And the ones that are in circulation, we're going to engage in buyback programs as best as we can. Boom. There you go. And the people that want to continue using their long barrel rifles have to undergo rigorous training to show and demonstrate their competence. Boom. All of a sudden, millions of Americans are like, all right, well, fuck that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go and get my money back on this thing. That's it. That's it. You literally say national registry. If you don't have a national registry, we will literally, if we stop you and we find a gun on your person and you're not a part of the national registry, we will take it away from you. You might even have a fucking steep prison sentence as a consequence of that. Boom. Doubly done, okay? Super done. Look at that. Now everybody's fucking very easily joining the National Registry to demonstrate and demonstrating their competence in handling a gun. Immediately, you are literally lowering the amount of fucking weapons that are in circulation. You are currently personally making sure that like people are even more safe in the way that they use their guns. That's crazy. Yeah, that worked really well in New York with handguns. What the fuck? What do you mean that worked really well in New York with handguns? Dude, New York is not far removed from like the rest of the country, okay? It's not in space. We are the #1 exporter of guns to Canada and the #1 exporter of guns into fucking Mexico. At the street level, every gun that the cartel uses is an American weapon. Most of the guns, well, 50% of the guns that are used in Canada are American weapons, okay? We are trafficking guns to other countries that have strict gun control, like very strict gun control. What the fuck makes you think there's no interstate commerce happening when New York is a part of America and there's no fucking defense? There's no security. You can just like drive over to Pennsylvania or Ohio. Every single argument that gun nuts advance is so quickly fucking dunked on. It doesn't even matter though. Just like it doesn't matter when people say, oh my God, what about the fucking, what if we had more security in our schools? Well, there was security at the school. They shot at the fucking guy. And you know that, you see that, you hear that, and yet you still act like that didn't happen. And that actually, what if there was even more guns in the school? And that, what if the teachers had guns? What if the kids had guns? Only then would we be able to stop this.
It wouldn't prevent these crimes.
Why do people actually need an AR-15?
Well, I mean, I think, we have in our Constitution
Oh, Rick Scott did say that. Okay, it is Rick Scott. Trigger warning, Rick Scott.
Why do people actually need an AR-15?
Well, I mean, I think, we have in our Constitution our Second Amendment rights, and I'm not interested in taking away rights for law-abiding citizens.
Awesome. In the last 24 hours since the Uvalde massacre, Fox News has proposed at least 50 solutions, and none of them are gun control. Remember how I was joking about, like, people are so desperate to move on from presenting the actual solution to the problem that they will, like, literally turn around and fucking advocate for insane shit? Even, like, a historical materialist perspective, you would never hear normally? Yeah, well, here it is, Here it is. Let's take a look.
I advocate always for an armed security guard.
Armed school safety officer.
Armed.
There were cops there that were armed.
Deputy.
Arming teachers.
Potentially arm and prepare and train teachers and other administrators.
Armed school staffers.
Bring in policemen.
Training the students themselves.
Retired military.
Training the students themselves. Oh my God. The Sacha Baron Cohen skit is literally real life now. Homie said train the students themselves. Bro, he's doing it. That was a joke. That was quite literally a fucking joke presented by Sacha Baron Cohen. And motherfuckers are saying that there's a reasonable solution. Oh my God, dude.
Bring in policemen.
Training the students themselves.
Retired military, retired law enforcement. We can offer them tax breaks.
If you give law enforcement the opportunity to impose martial law, we can guarantee safety and security.
What the
Securing
fuck?
that perimeter.
Homie said the army should do martial law at schools, bro. They need to, like, literally laser fucking black students, like, if they want to. Carte blanche.
Kind of providing kind of a ring of steel.
You have the fences, you have the main administration building, and then you have wide gaps on either side. The fencing's not very high.
Where the door's locked. Bulletproof glass. All of these shootings have happened at the same time that we see religion and Christian values and Judeo-Christian values declining.
Anybody who decides that they want to do something like this should immediately know that attacking a school is a death sentence for them.
Kids are afraid of being the school snitch.
Make attacking a school a death sentence?
We have to stop
school snitches.
Letting these schools be gun-free zones.
People need to put their phones down and get to know the person next to them.
We have spent billions of dollars on COVID-related measures for our schools. Let's take some of that money and divert it over to hardening these soft.
Wait, but we did that. We are doing that. The Biden administration literally did that, by the way. Thank you, Kellyanne Psycho, for suggesting something. But by the way, that should go to show you exactly what the Democratic Party's agenda looks like. That is the Democratic Party's agenda. That is literally what Joe Biden said last week before the school shooting.
A lot of these private schools, they take security way more serious.
Parents, take your children to church.
This anti-police narrative is forcing people not to call police.
A series of interlocking doors at the school.
By the way, everything that they mentioned happened in the shooting. They did call 911. Like they were paying attention. Maybe not martial law, but they did have like actual cops right there shooting at the person. Like, you know, most of these things that they're suggesting already happened and it failed.
Entrance that are triggered by a tripwire, and it traps the shooter like a rat.
God is the answer to that.
There's a moral rot going on that we all need to dig in and try to address.
I vote for decreasing social media exposure.
We need to start focusing on mental health.
Tell us why you think it's important to pray in a moment like this.
It calls for faith and prayer.
Why is it that schools aren't protected in the same way?
Honestly, though, I mean, you might as well pray, because like you're not getting it either way. You know what I mean? Like, what do? Why do you pray? You pray when there's no other way to get something done, right? And in the United States of America, you bet your fucking ass we're not going to get anything done on this matter. So you might as well just sit around and pray, because, you know, it's done. It's a wrap. It's already predetermined that it's not going to happen.
Way that airports.
There are some people who don't want police officers in schools.
Noticeably absent from the 37 so far. Noticeably absent proposal is less guns on the streets or some semblance of gun control. Nope, none of that.
With guns because other people are triggered.
Assault rifle and enhanced body armor.
A notification system to let everybody in the school.
Notice how like a lot of these guys are like ex-cops, by the way, or like, you know, Police Benevolence Association people, or, you know, from the Fraternal Order of the Police. Like they brought every single Thumbelina ex-cop they could.
Know what's happening?
Single point of entry.
I don't like.
Which, by the way, ironically, was a gigantic failure of the police force that is already getting 40% of the budget in that city, including additional grants, including being there, present with guns at that time, and failing to still apprehend, subdue, stop the shooter from killing 19 children.
Like talking about this stuff as it happens, because I don't think it contributes anything positive.
Parents should be held accountable for raising their children properly.
Ballistic blankets.
We just don't have the resources to get law enforcement there quickly.
How about an executive order for these mental health facilities?
We have to start rebuilding this country and returning to God.
I arm myself everywhere I legally can.
It's up to you to protect yourself.
This was a great video. It's fucking wonderful, dude. I mean, these guys, you have to recognize that they're just not even remotely interested in solutions. That's the whole point.